It began not with a sound, but with the profound, unnatural theft of one. For 3 days straight, the rain had fallen on the city of Viridia, not in a gentle patter, but in a relentless, deafening roar. And then, on the 4th morning, Elias woke to silence. It was the kind of silence that felt heavy, a physical weight on the eardrums. He rushed to the window, expecting to see a clear, washed-out sky. Instead, the rain was still falling, sheeting down his apartment window in a gray curtain, but he could not hear it. He pressed his palm against the cool glass, feeling the faint vibration of the impact, yet the world outside was utterly, terrifyingly mute. This was the first layer of the mystery, a puzzle that defied physics. Elias, an audio engineer whose life was built on the nuances of sound, felt the ground of his reality crack. He flicked on his radio. The needle swept across the bands, finding nothing but a hissing void. His phone showed no service. Venturing into the hallway, he saw his neighbor, Mrs. Gable, her mouth moving frantically behind her own door window, her knocks on the wood producing no vibration, no auditory evidence of existing at all. Sound had not just disappeared. It had been erased from the very fabric of existence, leaving behind a ghost of its sensation. If you're finding this tale as unsettling as Elias did, subscribe to the channel for more stories that challenge reality. The second hook came an hour later, a discovery that twisted the anomaly into something more personal. In his soundproof studio, a sanctuary of wires and speakers, Elias found a single open audio file on his computer. It was a recording of the rain from 2 nights before, a rich, layered symphony of droplets on concrete, distant thunder, and the gurgle of a drainpipe. He highlighted a section and, with a trembling finger, pressed play. The speakers remained silent, but when he closed his eyes and focused, the sound bloomed not in his ears, but directly in his mind, a perfect, crystalline memory of the rain. He could hear it. The recording was a key, not to playing sound, but to unlocking his memory of it. He tried other files, a Beethoven symphony, a recording of his late father's voice. They were all the same. Silent to the air, but vividly audible in the theater of his mind. The third hook was the most chilling. He saw a man on the street below, standing in the silent downpour, head thrown back in a scream that made no sound. But Elias saw the man's face shift from anguish to confusion, then to a serene, vacant calm. The man walked away, his movements peaceful, almost robotic. It was then that Elias understood the true nature of the silence. It wasn't an absence, it was a filter. The world had lost the ability to transmit sound waves, but the memory of sound remained, a dying echo in the human consciousness. And once a specific sound was remembered, truly and fully, the memory of it seemed to expire. The man had screamed, remembered the sound of his own terror, and then that memory had been wiped clean, leaving him empty and placid. The world was being systematically, silently stripped of its auditory soul. To ensure you don't miss the shocking conclusion of this silent nightmare, hit that bell icon so you won't miss a single upload. The climax arrived as Elias huddled in his studio, surrounded by his life's work, thousands of soundscapes. He realized he was a vault. He possessed the memories of sounds that were vanishing from the world forever. The gentle hum of a refrigerator, the specific creak of his old office chair, the complex chord of a busy cafe. These were artifacts now, and he was their last curator. But he could feel it happening to him too. After listening to the memory of his father's voice, the memory had become fainter, like a photograph fading in the sun. He was faced with a pivotal choice. Preserve the sounds in his mind, a lonely archive in a silent world, or release them experiencing their beauty one last time before they were gone for good, and succumbing to the peaceful emptiness that was claiming everyone else. He chose to remember. He focused on a simple sound, the laugh of a woman he'd once loved. He played the memory in his mind, holding onto it with every ounce of his will, fighting the inevitable fade. The memory fought back, not by disappearing, but by transforming. The laughter shifted, warped, and within it he heard a new sound, a faint, rhythmic, electronic pulse he had never noticed before. It was a signal, buried like a subliminal message in the recording of a forgotten moment. The final twist redefined everything. Elias, the audio engineer, understood. This wasn't a natural disaster. It was a broadcast. The silence was a carrier wave for this new signal, a pulse that was reprogramming humanity, smoothing out the rough, noisy edges of emotion. The world hadn't lost sound. It was being jammed by a frequency that required absolute silence to be received. And he, with his trained ears and archived memories, was the only one who could hear the ghost of the signal hidden within the ghost of the sound. He was not a curator. He was an immune system. As the silent rain continued to fall outside, Elias began frantically cataloging every memory, every sound, searching for more hidden pulses. The only man on earth who knew the world was being silently invaded, and that the key to stopping it was locked in the sounds he was desperately trying not to forget. If this story has left you questioning the very nature of your own reality, imagine what the next one will do. Subscribe and ring the bell, because the greatest mysteries are yet to be unraveled.